Are we gonna make this video all about carbon fiber fountain pens?
No, zirconium.
Yeah, zirconium as well. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here with Ben Walsh, and we're gonna showcase something new from Gravitas pens. I believe this is the first thing on this year from Gravitas, right?
Yeah, first new release. It's early, but
Yeah, it's early, but I did had a look at this fountain pen, or at least this two, for roughly around like a month ago. So I am very anxiously awaiting for this video because there is a lot to talk about them, and what better way than to have Ben Walsh with us, because he can school us on most of the things regarding these two fountain pens. By the time that you are seeing this video, I don't know if it's going to be before, during, or after the launch. We're going to see this soon, and no matter when, it is going to be fun. My host Ben can probably start with one of these two. So which one do you want to start with, Ben?
well, Pultruded.
Pultruded it is, and we have two of them. So I've showed you this exact one, which is the so-called prototype. Had this for
About 5-6 months.
5-6 months, yeah.
Yeah.
You've seen this. There were some small changes. It is best that we have both of them in this video to showcase what is different. Well, a little bit different. This is a complete new approach and model from Gravitas, and this is the first time that we see a piston from Gravitas, right?
Yeah, my first piston.
Not a new filling system like
No,
everyone
it's not.
knows. Like pistons.
Pistons are very common. I made my own, so it's my own piston.
Magnificent material, and there is no way to put it. This material has chatoyance, has a unique vibrancy to it. I would not consider this to be something which is going to not draw attention. Like, it's subtle, but it will make people notice this and ask what it is. And Ben, tell us why this material, how you came to use this.
I actually, I was doing research into, I do research into materials all the time. And in the Large Hadron Collider, they actually use pultruded carbon fiber rods to hold up big pipes that shoot the particles around. So I was like, oh, that's cool. It's just a very simple material, but it has very specific applications, and it was very strong. And yeah, so I said, I'll try make a pen out of that. And I did. It was difficult, but we made it.
I don't know where you get your ideas from, but keep on researching because I believe it looks so good. And to the best of my recollection, I have not seen pultruded carbon fiber fountain pens everywhere. Like, this is basically the first time that I'm seeing something besides the usual Pocket, which is also done by...
I don't think I'm the first to use it. There probably is other people that have used it before, just used it because it was pretty interesting. I could get it in rod form.
Yeah, that's...
It's very important to be able to get it in rod form, and I was able to get it in rod form. And yeah, it machined well, and we had to do a bit of research into how to machine pultruded carbon fiber, but we managed it. It was difficult. There was a lot of learning, a lot of broken tools, but we got it done.
One aspect which I just love about this material is the fact that it is forgiving. Like, if you're OCD just like me and you tend to want to keep fountain pens looking good, if it's a glossy black or I don't know, any glossy surface, you will find some minor abrasions or minor wear and tear. But with this one, I believe it's just like
it's raw.
It's
natural
exposed
finish.
material. It's raw.
Yeah, a lot of carbon fiber that you see with the super glossy finish, it's made in the mold, and they put a gloss finish on the inside of the mold. That's why it's so shiny. But if you're machining it, it's very difficult to get that shiny finish without doing a lacquer over the top and a lot of layers of lacquer, and then you have to polish it back. It can be done, but it's not very easy to do, and it's not forgiving at all.
This satin exposed carbon fiber, it's amazing. Are we gonna be in risk of just staining the material if some ink gets on this carbon fiber? I just read your thoughts and I popped the question, so Ben can answer this.
So yeah, it can hold, because it is raw and it has some absorbency to it, it can absorb moisture only a little bit. It won't go too far into it because it's directional. It will wick up, but you can get it out. You can clean it very easily. You can use all sorts of chemicals.
So it's not just like wood, but
No.
it is best to avoid getting ink and letting ink on this pan to sip in the material.
Yeah,
So
but you could clean it off with alcohol. It's perfectly safe. You can use isopropyl alcohol.
that works.
No acetone, but you could, yeah. And don't use petrol or kerosene. But yeah, you can definitely.
I love the ink window on it. I think it's stunning when you have such a beautiful oversized fountain pen with the.
That's the old one.
That's the prototype.
It looks exactly the same, but there's a few differences.
There's a few differences. So this is the final form of the pen. This arrives with the laser engraving on edge of the cap right here, the logo of Gravitas. On the top finial,
Oh god, it's hard to see. Oh, there it is.
it is the limited edition number because this is a 500 edition. Piston black trim elements all over and different from prototype that you've seen in some videos. You can see this part being a little bit more shiny, and this is made now in metal. I believe this is titanium, right?
Yeah, it's black PVD coated titanium.
So let's uncap the prototype. You can spot immediately the difference right here. On the old prototype, it was made out of carbon fiber, and here it is made in full titanium, this part right here, in between the step up and the ink window.
The reason for that is when machining such a thin trim ring in carbon fiber, the thinner you go, the more likely it is to fray. Even when you're doing a cross cut, it can still start to chip on the edges, and it would break on some of them. So we replaced it with a titanium trim ring.
I just think that now, and I've seen this being checked by you, the balance point is very, very close to being right in the middle.
So because it's, titanium is about 3 times heavier than the carbon fiber, so it's slightly more weighted forward. But we also didn't remove material, we actually changed the material of the piston. So the piston was fully made from bronze beforehand, but it was a bit too heavy at the back, so I changed the internal to be aluminium, but it's 6061 aluminium. But where the actual rod is, what do you call the rod? The twisty thing?
The piston knob?
Yeah, but the internal, I forget what it's called. But the internal, the thing that twists you,
the screw,
the spiral mechanism. So that's actually still made out of bronze, and the aluminium core is lined with bronze. So there's only a small amount of bronze in there to save on the weight, but you're still going to have the smoothness of the bronze with the lightweightness of aluminium.
We transitioned to, I can see here, ACME threads, right?
Yeah.
So it's going to be one of those threads that have a blunt tip profile, which at first sight, when you see it and grip on it, it's not going to feel sharp at all. So even if you grip your fountain pen something like this, a little bit more close to the ink window, it's going to be just perfect. The section made out of titanium, I don't see any ridges on it, but
smooth. Well, if you look really, really closely, you'll see them, but there's not as pronounced as many of my other pens.
Yep, but in my opinion, this is the way to go because this is a larger pen and it is a chunkier section, so you can actually grip a little bit firm on it. Doing so, I believe it's a far better option not to have this circular grooves that will just simply plant your hand on something like this, and it looks better. I think the pen altogether, it's one satin texture, like the same texture you have on the material here on the carbon, you have on the section itself just as well. So I believe it's marvelous. Hourglass, so right here is the point where you don't slip forward. The writing point, the nib, I mean the elephant in the room, and it's the size of an elephant.
Yeah, that's it.
It's an 8 steel, right?
Great steel nib, yeah.
I see.
So we have paired it with the Japanese Nico Ebonite, and
So Nico, Ebonite feeder, what more do you want? I mean,
and it's black PVD coated.
Black PVD.
So when you actually PVD coat a nib, it can actually change its mechanical properties slightly. So it can be slightly stiffer, but it's not too bad because it's such a big nib, because you have that length, it can still flex a little bit.
So I have the fine point on my prototype, which I've used for the past few months, and now I got a medium on this tester, and I put both of them on paper, and I find it to be pleasing. It is not a flexi nib, like it's just like any steel nib. It has a little bit of give.
Yeah.
but in my opinion, it should not be flexed or pressed on it. If you want to get the smooth writing experience with it, you have to use it normally as any nib without pressing too much on it.
Yeah.
I like the fact that this is an oversized pen. Another point is the fact that being an 8 nib, it sticks out a little bit more than a 6, so it gives a different feel. Like when you write with such a pen, your grip, it's further up than with the 6.
Yeah.
The 6 sort of makes the pen grip to feel a little bit more closer to the paper. The piston works smooth in my testing all together as a package. What we have today in this pen and offering, I believe it's something amazing. Almost forgot. Delrin.
Well, yeah, so this is Delrin lined. Carbon fiber is pretty rough. If you want a nice smooth capping action, you want to line it with Delrin. I know this from experience. All the trim rings as well, yeah, they're all grade 5 titanium. So the same PVD coating is used on the nib as well as the section, the trim rings, and the blind gap, so it's consistent. And then the laser engraving is done before we do the PVD coating, so it's completely black. So it's a black, stealth black.
So it's a more deeper black, because usually I've seen ruthenium plating done on rhodium plated or silver nibs. Basically underneath the ruthenium, it was a silver nib. I don't know if it was plated in rhodium and then ruthenium, but it shows off like a subdued silver. This is just like painted black, not Vanta black, but still
Yeah,
black.
no, it's a polished black. It's nice. It's very tough. This is one of the reasons. It really does make the nib a little bit stiffer, because I actually am quite used to adjusting nibs. Whenever I have to adjust these nibs, it's way tougher. Way tougher. So the nibs actually have to be adjusted before the PPD coating is done for it to be consistent. And then all the nibs are heat set, so they're ready to go.
I have here, just for demonstration purposes, a silver color 8 nib. Like, this is what you can find underneath the black, basically. I think this is going to be something very interesting to check out in 2025.
Yeah. Sorry, but another thing about the housing, I didn't make it to be a specific housing. Somehow very close to a Bach 380.
I've checked, and in some cases it fit.
Yeah.
Bulk threaded hands.
It's not guaranteed to fit all Bach 380 nibs. The tolerance has sometimes changed on some of the Bach nibs, but yeah, it somehow fits in unintentionally. So just so you know.
Technically speaking, this will be a good mark where in this video I can include a disclaimer, like if you want to change such a nib on something else or a different nib on one of this fountain pens, proceed at your own expense. Take it easy, don't force anything. It may fit, it's not guaranteed.
Yeah.
So
we have it done in a way that it fits into this pen with a gasket, so it's nice and sealed. I don't know if that will be the same for a Bach. I don't have any Bach nibs to test with, but we can try it later on.
we can try it later on. It has no clips, so you can share some information about
Yeah,
this.
I don't put clips on my pens. Yeah, there's a good reason for this. Like, people always wonder, why do I not put
Last
clips on it?
video, I've asked the audience to try to convince you to put a clip. I was just joking.
I'll tell you why. All right, I'll tell you why.
Why?
Now. If you want to put a clip on a pen, straight away you're adding cost. That cost is then passed on to everybody else that wants a pen. Only about 5% of customers won't buy a pen if it doesn't have a clip. The other 95% don't mind. So if I put a clip on, 95% of customers are punished, essentially. I'm not going to give the option of clip on, clip off, because that's still an expense. To make a clip, there's design costs, mold costs. There's a lot of
just trying to think about why I would have need a clip like on a pen, like possibly to not roll off. That would be the only viable scenario in which I would be deciding, oh, I need a clip for this. But in regards of clipping,
yeah, but traditionally
no.
pens were kept in your pocket. Try find a shirt now with a pocket in it. They're very hard to find. Because that's originally what it was all for. So you can still find some shirts that have pockets, but you know, that's times have moved on, and I'm not putting my clips. I'm not putting. Will we do the thing where
We cut?
Yeah,
We cut. We cut.
blooper reel.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So, no clip, right?
Yeah, I'm not putting clips on my
No
pens, and that's why.
Another key aspect, which I believe it's worth just simply discussing in this video format, it's what you can actually pay for such a pen, which I believe it is a good value for what you get, and vice versa. Pen will be retailing at how much, Ben?
350 before VAT.
350. I'm a pen retailer, so I'm trying to figure out a placement in the market, like it's above this and under this in regards of cost and what I get. But now thinking, it's very difficult to identify a pen which I can compare it to above and under in regards of what it offers and the pricing for it. I believe genuinely that this is a great value because you get a very interesting material like this carbon. You get a piston filling mechanism, the first one in the Gravitas lineup. This is an oversized pen. Like you can have a look here next to a pocket. So it is the real deal oversized pen. And just for safe reference, like if you want to see,
use that, but this is the original Century.
Oh, should I use this? I don't know how I'm gonna explain what is this
You have to
and
put it there. You can see that.
why it should be here. So we have right here a Sentry, right here a pocket, and right here in the middle we have the piston. So you can clearly see that it's not only a new shape, it is an oversized fountain pen from the Gravitas lineup. It is different than the others, I believe.
It's terribly similar to my Sentry by accident. I'm just looking at it on the screen here, and it does have some of the same characteristics, but inside it's definitely different. Can't say that's a completely new shape, it's just a slightly different shape, I think would be more accurate.
Now if you put the silhouette one on top of the other, and you can clearly see that it is a different model because it is based on the Sentry, I believe, but it is slightly longer, more girthier, new nib, new section. It is something which I believe it is different, like a new lineup entry.
A new complication to the pens with slightly different dimensions, but still Gravitas style.
Yep. A numbered edition. I believe we're gonna see some new stuff based on the same model. This black is going to be only 500, right?
Yeah, the black,
Okay.
500, yeah.
We should show you a pen which, full disclaimer, no uranium ever went into the process of making, handling, or being in this fountain pen. So, we're not going to cut this.
Okay, we won't cut it.
So, we had a talk regarding to migrate some materials from, like, for example, the
dinkies, yeah.
The dinkies, the zirconium quark into different larger pens. And then the first moment that I proposed it was like, are you sure how expensive is this material? I'm like, no, but I think it's a good idea. Well, good idea or bad idea, it is a hell of a interesting idea and material in person. 95% of this material worldwide.
No, it's definitely not 95%.
I googled it.
Oh, so did I, because when you said that, I was like, wow, no, it's 1%. I think it's you. Oh, fact checking me. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, let's see if we're using the same Google.
At least 5% of the world's zirconium is now in Gravitas pens.
So basically, it is used in the fuel rods in a uranium.
Oh, I don't know what it's used for, but it's
reactor.
definitely used in nuclear applications. It's heavy. It's 6.4 grams, I think, per centimeter cubed.
Sort of have a look which it's just good as it is raw. So it looks stunning. It is satin, but it becomes shiny if you carry this pen with you.
The zirconium, it's basically, it's non-reactive to anything. It's very resistant to nearly every chemical out there. Zirconium is very expensive also. It's considered a jewelry grade material because of how expensive it is. But also, when you make a ring out of it, I don't have one, but if you do make one out of it and you heat it up to get the coating on it, it's super resistant for like years and stays black.
This has been numbered 300 units. I cannot wait to see this pen being retailed, and it is paired with a black nib. Also something which I've took from the feedback from customers that requested a black nib on something which is black altogether. So it's been answered. Possibly you watching right now who already danced with zirconium and its marvelous properties in regards of producing that sound. Yep, this sound. It is not going to be with the Pocket because the Pocket, it has been upgraded to the latest and greatest from the Pocket series. It is a Delrin insert in the cap, which is going to be preventing the sound.
Yeah, so if we didn't put the Delrin liner in, your finish would be damaged, essentially because of the way it posts. It's a friction post. I know that customers hate when their pen gets damaged, and this is not going to be a budget pen. And if you're paying money for a pen, you don't want it to be getting scratched every time you post it.
Less people will actually buy such a writing instrument for the Zing itself. More will be just open to have one if it's going to be maintaining its looks, because it is an expensive material and it will be translating this into the final retailing price of it. We took the safest option into having it keep its pristine look while being used.
Yeah, and zirconium was surprisingly popular when I first released it in the Quark. I had to do a few restocks.
Fingers crossed, this is the first proposition. If this goes good, I believe you can count on me if you want to see some cool materials from the Dinky and from the Quark series being migrated into something like a Pocket. With that being said, this is the sort of overall first launch of this year. Like I told you previously in the video, I don't know if this goes at the same time with the launch, while it's launching, or after. But anyway, we will see how things are going. First thing would be the Piston, which is going to be launched, I believe, in a few days from recording this video. And we will see after how things are, and we will release also the Zirconium as well. It's going to be available pretty much in the Gravitas retailing network and on the Gravitas website just as well. Let us know if you have any questions regarding these two options from Gravitas. Use the comment section down below. Let us know if you want to see something cool.
Will we do a Q&A? We said we would, so we'll do a Q&A soon. So ask any question.
Any question
relating to pens, not about my life, just pens. Any question, and we'll try answer them.
Okay. Leave us your questions, your topics for some videos, like if you wanna see us discuss something like an idea, like a concept, like a material, like an option. Leave them in the comment section down below, and we will be more than happy to address these topics in our videos. Thank you for your support. Don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up. This will help us a lot with the YouTube algorithm and everything. And don't forget to subscribe to the PenVenture YouTube channel. It's very easy. Click there, turn the notification bell on, and if you want to see more of content from us, you have this video here. My name is Amy.
I'm Ben.
See you next time.